Mr. Chairman of the party and chairman of this occasion, Your Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, Your Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, the President of Pro Forum, and let me declare that I want to stand on the protocols previously established by earlier speakers. It gives me pleasure and pride to be able to join you here today in the Garden City of Ghana, not just to participate in the 4th summit of the Professional Forum of the NDC, but to deliver the keynote address. I'm sure many of you who are aware of my peculiar circumstances this week have been wondering whether I'll be able to gather the emotional strength and stability to be able to perform this onerous duty today. But as cadres of the revolution, we have been trained to walk over the bodies of fallen comrades in arms, fight to achieve victory before we return to account for our losses. I also take inspiration from another core maxim of believers in social justice, that matters concerning ourselves shall be last observed. Comrades, within the next 3 days, you will be discussing matters which are very fundamental to the existence, growth, and development of the Professional Forum, its structural location within the NDC, and expectations of the party about the roles and functions of the forum in our collective forward march towards 2024 and beyond. My address this evening will cover 4 sub-themes, which are: 1, background to the formation of the Pro Forum; 2, challenges with its formation and positioning within the NDC structure; 3, the contributions of Pro Forum to the progress of the party so far, and the way forward. Before the revolution, the campuses of the 3 universities of Ghana were the cradles of progressive ideas. These ideas found expression through the formation of vibrant student movements to fight for noble objectives ranging from the demand for good governance in Ghana, ridding the continent of apartheid and other forms of colonialism, and solidarity with other struggling peoples of the world. It was therefore not surprising that the student movement, the workers, lecturers, and other professional groups who were yearning for change from the misrule of the Achampong Akufu regime became the natural allies of the revolution. Indeed, students and lecturers opted to close down the universities so they could participate in task forces to undertake cocoa evacuation from the hinterlands, railway rehabilitation, and other voluntary exercises like communal labor, etc., etc. However, the second closure of the universities following anti-PNDC demonstrations in 1983 for a whole academic year marked an important watershed for the crystallization of anti-PNDC sentiments on the nation's university campuses. The introduction of tribunals and people's courts to improve expedition and access to justice by the ordinary and poor in society was seen by some legal professionals as an affront to the dignity of their profession. By the end of the decade, that stopped the decay. And with the massive improvement of the economic situation in the country, Ghanaians now had the peace of mind to demand a return to constitutional rule in accordance with Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. The leadership of some professional groups rode on the crest of the legitimate demand of Ghanaians to convert their members into anti-PNDC brigades. The hostility between the PNDC and leadership of some of the professional groups worsened to the extent that even when they were invited to nominate their representatives to the Consultative Assembly to write the Constitution that will facilitate a quick return to constitutional rule, they declined, claiming that they find it difficult to see how they, as professionals, could sit at the same table with butchers, hairdressers, bookmen to draft a constitution. Many of these leaders found themselves in the MPP and continued to use their platforms to denigrate NDC as a party of riffraffs, illiterates, and villagers. In spite of this negative propaganda, NDC continued to hold its own among the rank and file of the professional bodies, and our victory in elections was assured due to our track record of governance and development. Following their boycott of parliamentary elections in 1992, the MPP decided to organize what they termed opposition outside parliament by actively mobilizing civil society and leadership of the professional bodies to frustrate the work of the newly elected NDC government. They managed to hijack the newly emerging private media and used it to denigrate the NDC-dominated parliament as a rubber stamp, the MPs as clueless zombies, and our president as a bongo boy, in contrast with the then renowned Professor Duboahin of MPP, who was touted as the fountain of knowledge. In the face of this propaganda onslaught, the NDC continued to seek solace in not only accepting the negative tax, but actively propagating our identity as a party for the poor, illiterates, and rural folks. In the meantime, the success of our developmental programs was generating more successful businesses, increasing literacy levels, accelerating urbanization, and therefore expanding the size and power of the middle class in Ghana. These developments continued to erode the electoral base of the NDC imperceptibly until we lost the 2016 elections. An electoral review committee, which was constituted by the party under the able chairmanship of Professor Kwasi Botwe, identified the perception of the weak professional base of NDC as one of the causes of our defeat, and recommended the need to address the situation urgently. Comrades, it was against this background that when I was approached by Ambassador Sampi Yale with a proposal to establish a vehicle to mobilize Ghanaian professionals with progressive orientation, I gladly accepted the idea. Challenges and with the formation of Pro-Forum and its positioning within the NDC structure. The NDC has an unpleasant history of formation of groups within the party which operated outside the direct control of the leadership of the party at various levels. Examples of these groups were Veranda Boys and Girls, Friends for Atamils, Funka, Mahama Ladies, Lordina Ladies, Zongo Caucus, Volta Caucus, etc., etc. Some of these groups created more problems than they came to solve. They usually began with very noble objectives which make them difficult to resist by any flag bearer or party leader who is eager to win elections. They end up being hijacked by a few opportunities to pursue objectives which are totally different from the stated ones. These hidden objectives include the projection of individuals for positions within the party and government, diversion of campaign resources, deployment of fifth columnists to actually sabotage the party's campaign, and last but not the least, harboring bad losers of party internal elections to destabilize the incumbents. The unpleasant history has led to heightened suspicion and resentment within NDC about the emergence of any new groups. To avoid these pitfalls, the promoters of Pro-Forum, after discussions with my office, decided to register the organization with the Registrar General's Department as a civil society organization with full sponsorship from the NDC. That notwithstanding, the actual takeoff of the Pro-Forum on the ground has been met with various challenges centering around questions like, what is the functional relationship between Pro-Forum and NDC? Should Pro-Forum have parallel structures to those of the main party across the country and internationally? How do we reconcile the constitution of the two bodies? Does Pro-Forum always require express permission from the party leadership before undertaking programs and activities? Over the past few years, the existence of the Pro-Forum, over the past few years, I beg your pardon, of the existence of the Pro-Forum, your national leadership has cooperated very well with party leadership in the pursuit of common grounds for the resolution of these challenges with varying degrees of success. Now let me turn my attention to the contribution of Pro-Forum in the improvement of NDC's electoral outcomes in 2020. In spite of the challenges mentioned above, I can confidently say, and I believe I'm saying this on behalf of the National Chairman and His Excellency President Mahama, I can confidently say without any fear of contradiction that the NDC Pro-Forum has more than justified its existence, validated the Boche Committee's recommendations, and proved the vision of its founding president right. The list of its achievements include training and capacity building of party members through effective collaboration with the party school, intellectual input into producing for NDC what was acclaimed to be the best manifesto of all the parties that contested in the 2020 elections. Deploying Pro-Forum members actively in all programs before, during, and after the 2020 elections to deal with critical assignments like party agents, handling legal cases in police stations and the courts, undertaking advocacy for policy positions of the party, and contributions of significant, and I like to repeat, significant campaign financing and logistics for the 2020 elections. On behalf of the great NDC family, I wish to use this platform to acknowledge these contributions and to extend the party's deepest appreciation for these achievements of the Pro Forum. Now, the way forward. To find a lasting solution to the structural relationship challenges identified earlier in my speech, I am pleased to announce to you that the Functional Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress has approved, subject to ratification by NEC, the following proposals from the National Secretariat of the party. Number one, that in accordance with Article 9 of the NDC Constitution, the party has granted the Pro Forum the status of a fully affiliated body of the NDC. Two, consequently, the Pro Forum henceforth is free to organize its structures as its own laws permit, independent of the NDC structures. Three, that an annual subscription fee to be determined by the National Executive Committee shall be paid by Pro Forum in addition to any other voluntary contributions or donations Pro Forum may choose to offer to support the party's activities. Pro Forum shall be entitled to present a number of delegates equivalent to one international chapter of the NDC to all our annual congresses. Now, the way forward to 2024 and beyond. Mr. Chairman, comrades, permit me to now put forward what I consider to be the task of your organization towards 2024 and beyond, if NDC is to achieve its vision of recapturing power in the next elections. A, research and advocacy to guide fact-based decision-making and formulation of policies with social democratic foundations. Two, supporting the party in grassroots mobilization, reorganization, and strengthening of the party's branches. You will be very, very important in this assignment because the structure of our party puts the various party executives, particularly the constituency executives, in a position of conflict of interest when it comes to the time of electing branch executives. In some constituencies, our executives have risen above their personal interests and done their jobs. However, in a few other constituencies, our election of branch executives have been converted into selection of delegates for constituency elections. And so those constituencies have been identified, and we would want to deploy persons we can claim as neutral as far as those elections are concerned, so they can assist our executives in those constituencies to be able to conduct credible branch elections, so that after the elections and after they participate in the subsequent elections, they will know that their work is about to begin, and that the work will not end when they cast their votes for their favorite candidates. So we will be knocking your doors very soon to seek your assistance for deployment into very rural and difficult areas. So as professionals, begin to buy your smocks and t-shirts. That will take you into to do very important assignments. Now, the third assignment will be training your own members in the electoral processes of Ghana to put them in readiness for deployment at short notice to undertake critical assignments. By-elections may take us by surprise, so at any point in time, we should have a pool of professionals very knowledgeable in numeracy and other subjects, so you can be deployed to assist in protecting our votes. Mobilization of resources for the party's activities, including our campaigns, which we are doing already. But now that you have a full affiliation, I'm sure you will intensify that activity. And finally, the identification and grooming of talents and expertise for future roles in an NDC government. Mr. Chairman, comrades, permit me to conclude by wishing you fruitful deliberations in the next 2 days and an incident-free elections. We expect that your elections will come out very democratically, incident-free, and not like elephants fighting for positions. Well, I don't know whether I should do my final, since His Excellency President Mahama is here. I will leave the declaration of the summit open to him to do. But let me say, long live NDC, long live Pro Forum, and may God bless our homeland Ghana, and make us do. Thank you. Eyezu, Eyezuzu, Eyezu. Thank you very much.
I believe we'll do it better.